Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we look into some more reserve list cards. Now, before I start, I'd just like to thank everyone who comments and likes these videos. It really does help me keep going and motivated to try to at least finish off the reserve list series. Let's get to it. So the first card is Illusion of Grandeur, which is from Ice Age. 3 colorless, 1 blue for an enchantment. It's got cumulative upkeep 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a age counter on this permanent, then sacrifice it unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter on it. When Illusion of Grandeur enters the battlefield, you gain 20 life. When it leaves the battlefield, you lose 20 life. This, oh boy, this is a tricky card because from the cost of this card, it feels like it's probably playable in a lot of places. Another thing to remember is it actually says you gain 20 life. That pretty much would count as a life gain, correct? So if that was a card that said you lost 20 life and the opponent loses 20 life, or sorry, whenever you lose life, the opponent loses the same amount of life as you, which I think there's a black card that does that. And whenever you gain life, the opponent, a target or opponent loses the same life as you. Then for 4 mana, this card would be very annoying. I don't know if that means that you get targeted in a black blue life gain deck or a black blue white life gain deck. It'll be a weird situation to be in anyways, where this card just keeps comes in and then leaves and then does 40 damage based on a enchantment, another enchantment you already have out. I don't think it's actually a really good card, but it does say gain 20 life. And I think that's a bit better than your life total now becomes 40 because that doesn't really help you with gaining life and triggers from gaining life. But you guys can let me know if there's another way to play this card or if there's another use for a card like this. The next one is Pygmy Hippo from Visions. One blue, one green for a 2/2. Not bad actually. Summon Hippopotamus. It actually says Hippo. Whenever Pygmy Hippo attacks and isn't blocked, you may have defending player activate a mana ability of each land they control and lose all unspent mana. If you do, Pygmy Hippo assigns no combat damage this turn, and at the beginning of the next phase, the main phase this turn, you add an amount of colorless mana equal to the amount of mana that player lost this way. What is it doing? It's pretty much, if it attacks and they don't block, it steals all of their mana and turns it into colorless mana while dealing no combat damage. This feels really decent. Not amazing, because it has to deal combat damage. Oh, sorry, no. It doesn't have to deal combat damage. It just has to be unblocked. Maybe you can play an unblockable deck. It doesn't really have anything special coming from its side to make it or help it become unblockable. But I feel like there's still ways to abuse this card. If you get it out early, that's really good. And there's nothing stopping you from actually searching for a card like this, but yeah, I don't know. This feels like a very powerful card if you played it at the right time. It is true that if they used mana in their turn and they have no unspent mana, then they're not gonna. Or can they tap in response to you attacking? No, I feel like this is an okay card, but I don't know if there's a way to make this actually work as well. There was a time when it used to be 49 cents. That's weird. Sorry, that's way back in time now. But you can get it from TCG for $7.48. I feel like there's some use for a card like this, but I'm not going to stick on it for too long. Next is Tombstone Stairwell from Mirage. 2 colorless, 2 black for an enchant world. It says, okay, it is actually just as complicated as that. Cumulative upkeep, pay 1 colorless, 1 black. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a Tombstone Stairwell is on the battlefield, each player puts a 2/2 black zombie creature token with haste named Tombspawn onto the battlefield for each creature card in his or her graveyard. At the beginning of each end step or when Tombstone Stairwell leaves the battlefield, destroy all tokens put onto the battlefield with Tombstone. They cannot be regenerated. Oh my god, this card is amazing in a Muldrotho deck or a Dredge deck. You're going to have far, far more artifacts. Sorry, far more creatures in your graveyard. than the opponents. And it says at the beginning of each upkeep. So if you have 10 creatures and everyone else has 2, then at the beginning of every upkeep, they will get 2 zombies. You will have 10. They may swing them at you. They may swing them at others. But the main thing is that you're always going to be up. And you don't lose that power. And even better, if you have a sacrifice outlet, then you're going to get like 10 zombies, 40 zombies before it's your turn again. And that's after 2 dredge cards. A life from the loom and probably like, I don't know, well, what's that skeleton? The one that dredges for like 6 or 7. Anyway, um, yeah, I feel like this is a really, really good card and can probably be abused in the right deck. My idea right now is a dredge commander deck, but yeah, the 7 of there's a lot of cards like this, but it's a very expensive starting point, obviously, because of just what's been happening in the last couple of days. There used to be a time when it used to be $5 in June 15, 2020. Oh, too bad. Oh no, what card was this? Okay, I'm not too sure what card that went to, but let's keep going. Powder Keg from Urza's Destiny, 2 colorless for an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a fuse counter on Powder Keg. Tap, sacrifice Powder Keg, destroy each artifact and creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of fuse counters on Powder Keg. This also feels really, really good. Yeah, I think this is actually a really good card. This probably would have been an amazing card just a couple of weeks ago. I see nothing wrong with this. It's an artifact. You can set it off when you want them. If you have 4 or 5 mana cards, you can try to keep the board clean of 2 mana and 3 mana cards. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this card at all. It looks really, really good. Next one, Worms of the Earth from the Dark. 2 colorless, 3 black for an enchantment. Players cannot play lands. Lands cannot enter the battlefield. At the beginning of each upkeep, any player may sacrifice 2 lands or have Worms of the Earth deal 5 damage to him or her. If a player does either, destroy Worms of the Earth. So it's 5 mana. Players can't play any lands. Lands can't enter the battlefield. But any player at the beginning of their upkeep may sacrifice 2 lands to destroy the Worms of the Earth and take 5 damage. I think. I don't know if this is an amazing card. I can't tell. The art is super creepy. Reminds me of Goosebumps. Next. Unfulfilled Desires from Mirage. 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 black. Enchantment. Pay 1 mana, pay 1 life, draw a card, and then choose and discard a card. There's better ways to do this nowadays. It doesn't feel like a bad card. It just doesn't feel like an overpowered card because there's just so many ways to. Is this loot or? Yeah, there's just so many ways to do exactly what this card says, and sometimes you don't even need 3 mana and paying 1 life and tap. You can get this on a 2 mana, a 2/1 creature for 2 mana. Eternal Flames from the Dark, 2 colorless, 2 red for a sorcery. It says Eternal Flames deals X damage to target opponent, where X is the number of mountains you control. It deals half X damage rounded up to. I feel like I covered this, but either way, this is a okay card. It just isn't too good that it's a sorcery speed. Next, Grave Robber from the Dark. 1 colorless, 2 black for a summon robber. Pay 1 black, tap. Take 1 artifact from any graveyard and remove it from the game. You gain 2 life. Eh. Rogue. Human rogue. Yeah, I don't think that's worth $10, but there are. It's from the Dark. It's a bit more rare or to get this kind of card than a lot of other ones, so maybe that's the reason. Next card, Ferexian Devourer. From Alliance. Pay 6. 6 colorless for an artifact creature. It's a 1/1. It says when Ferexian Devourer Devourer's power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it. Okay. Exile the top card of your library. Put X +1/+1 counters on Phyrexian Devourer, where X is the exiled cards converted mana cost. Wait, what are you paying for? You're paying 6 mana for a 1/1 that when it gets to 7 or greater, you sacrifice it. You get to put +1/+1 counters on it, which is the best part about this, which +1/+1 counters have their uses. But you exile a card that you cannot get back with the card that you exiled it with. It just feels like a really roundabout way to spend 6 mana for doing almost nothing for one turn. And then hopefully next turn you get something that's 5 mana and make this a 6/6 and then swing with it. But then you're paying 6 mana for a 6/6. It doesn't feel that good. It's from Alliance. Maybe that's got some more worth to it, but it just doesn't feel that good. Also, I think one of my cards did not load up and doesn't seem to want it. I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 cards here. I'm just sadly going to have to jump in, pick another card, and add it to this list. I'm going to pick kefaris isil from Mirage. It's a legendary land. It's a legendary land that has phasing. It comes into play tapped, and you can tap it to add 2 blue mana to your mana pool. Problem is phasing. This phases in or out before you untap during each of your untap steps. While it's phased out, it's treated as though it doesn't exist. Overall, this land is not going to give you 2 mana. It's overall going to give you 1 mana and enters the battlefield on the first turn tapped. Because you're not going to be able to tap it every second turn. I feel like this is not exactly the best card, but maybe you can consider it ramp on that one turn that you get straight after you play this to get 2 mana out of this, and then it disappears for one turn. So you had to probably sit back for it, but it's a weird way to play it. I don't know if it's actually worth it, and you guys can let me know if that is the case. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. I'm going to call it right now, and hopefully you guys will join me again next time. Thanks again.